Hello, and
Hi, Anita.
DeAndre is making noise tonight. But hey, Mr. Charles. Hello, and good evening, everybody, to tonight's Let's Talk Autism with Autism and Us. This is where we come together on Sundays and we talk about our journeys with autism, whether it's for ourselves or with our loved ones diagnosed on the autism spectrum. Shh, he's playing cards. And for those of you who don't know me, I am Nita. How are you guys doing? What you got up, Mr. Charles?
Nothing special going on. Just I finished dinner, doing laundry right now, and now I'm down here.
Okay, okay. Let's see who's here. Hey, Michelle. How are you? Michelle. Hi, Iris. How are you doing?
Hi, Michelle and Iris.
Kiana, how are you?
Hi, Kenyana.
So I put up a post today in the support group. And the question was, what would you guys like the world to know about autism in general? And what would you like the world to know about your child and autism or yourself and autism? So I thought that would be something we could talk about. Yeah, Michelle, let me tell you, he done took about 6 of my sheets, clean sheets, rolled them up, and made a little track like thing around the floor. Hello, anyone joining us on TikTok? How are you doing this evening?
Well, that
So
reminds
yeah,
me of a
track.
reminds me of a picture I saw in the paper many years ago.
Uh-huh.
That showed you can see a figure dangling from a window in a building, and the story explained that an inmate of the Long Island City Jail in New York had tied a bunch of sheets together so he could lower himself from his cell and escape.
Oh
And
my
he
goodness.
miscalculated, and he was in a ninth floor cell, and the sheets got him only down to about the fifth floor. Anyway, firefighters set up a net underneath him, and he could jump
And
down
they
into
went
it. And then
right
they
back where they
promptly
belong.
escorted him to maximum security. Yeah.
Hey Teresa, how are you this evening? Kelly, how are you? Yep, you're
Hi,
right, Michelle
Kelly,
NASCAR.
Teresa.
Hey Candy, how are you doing?
Hi, Candy.
And who we have here, who owns information, owns the world in Rothschild. Well, hello, how are you?
Hi,
Glad you're doing good, Teresa.
hi,
Okay,
Teresa.
so again, the question is, what would you guys want the world to know about autism in general? Or what would you like the world to know about autism and your child or autism and yourself? What do you think this world should know? What kind of information? Mr. Charles, we're going to start with you since you are on the spectrum.
Yeah,
Uh,
I just saw the question just while I was waiting for the meeting to start. I just read
oh,
the
okay.
question. I didn't, well, by the time the discussion was closed anyway, the comments, but um, I guess, one thing would be to know that autism has many faces, and, and it shows up in many different ways in people and affects people different ways. And also, of course, another thing is let them know we don't all look like Rain Man.
Okay, I'm gonna whenever you start talking, I'm gonna have to mute myself because DeAndre, I think he's gonna do that until bedtime. Hi there, was that Sweet Ninja? How are you? How are you this evening?
Woof.
Um, let's see who else. Teresa said she's doing good. Candy said today was a lot. My son is starting to read green eggs and ham. Okay, awesome, Dr. Seuss, huh?
I remember reading that with my daughter. And that was, I think that was my favorite of all the Dr. Seuss books. Well, either that or the ABC book,
Oh
one or
yeah.
the other of them. Yeah,
Hey Tanya, how are you?
Tanya. I remember
Okay, Tanya,
Z.
I am on both um, Facebook and TikTok. I don't know how to mute myself on TikTok, so you guys won't be disturbed by DeAndre's racing noise. But Tanya, the question this evening is: what would you like the world to know about autism, or what would you like the world to know about autism and your child? And for those of you who are on the spectrum, what would you like to know about the world to know about autism as it pertains to you? And I'm sorry, Michelle says, I want people to not judge what you do not understand. Also, do not be surprised that you know several people are autistic and you have no idea. That is so true. You could be sitting next to someone every day and not know that they are on the spectrum.
And I'm sure there are a lot of people on the spectrum who don't know that they are on the spectrum.
That's true too. There you go. Hey, DeAndre, don't you want to go in your room? Okay. Okay, can you lower it down just a little bit? Take it down a notch. Just a notch. Okay, and Kenyana says, I like for people to know that my son gets overstimulated and overwhelmed in crowds, and he often appears as being a typical rude child, but he's just having a hard time coping with different environments. I also like for people to just ignore his threats. Oh my goodness. So when you say threats, what do you mean? Ignore his threats. What you want him to be able to go out there and be the person he is without, basically, again, without judgment. Candy says children are different. Our children have meltdown sometimes. Some people say my son need a beating when he falls out. Yeah, I think a lot of us has gotten that. A lot of people will see meltdowns as just, although it is a behavior, but there may be a reason behind the behavior. And a lot of people are quick to assume that, oh, this person should be able to handle that bad kid, just get a belt. And it's not as simple as just grabbing a belt and trying to beat them to silence. So, yep. And Kelly agrees with
Yeah.
Michelle. And Candy says, I tell them she just needs a few minutes. Right, right. And a lot of times that's how good conversations start. But sometimes if you see a parent and they're having a hard time, don't judge. Maybe ask, is everything okay? Do they need help? Or maybe they just need you to stand back and let whatever's happen. Um, but the world needs to be a little more understanding when it comes to that. And not the same. Hey, not the same says behavior is communication. Definitely, definitely. Kenyana says just because my son is autistic, that doesn't mean he's smart or a genius. Yeah, I think a lot of people have the notion that um, our kids are smart just because well, they are, but let me correct myself, are geniuses. All of them have this, What am I looking for, Mr. Charles? What
Yeah,
are we working?
I think what you're looking for is the expression special ability.
Yeah.
And of course, the thing to realize, some autistic people have special abilities, um, but certainly, from what I've read, although I'm one of them, I have a special ability in math, but from what I've read, uh, those with special abilities are in the minority among autistic people, for one thing, from what I've read. And the other thing is that you got to realize, even you watch the movie Rain Man, and you can see it there that often, these special abilities are offset by such lack of ability to put them to any practical use that they're essentially wasted. I mean, the only way that Raymond came in handy to his brother was in counting cards and at the blackjack table.
Oh.
I mean, even the fact he could do these multiplications way beyond what I can do as far as multiplications in his head and so on, but he thought that a new car and a candy bar were both worth about $1. Or about $100, actually, about $100, I should say.
Mhm.
And he couldn't tell you, if you start out with $1, you spend 50 cents, how much you have left.
Okay. So I'll say that also a lot of our parents don't want to accept the fact that their children are intellectually disabled. They get offended when that term is used. And my son, um, it goes right along with his autism. He's also intellectually has an intellectual disability. And I mean, I'm not ashamed of it. It's just who he is. But I do see a lot of parents, they get really offended um, when you mention or say that the child may have an intellectual disability. And it's okay. It is okay.
I think a lot of parents see, any disability, any kind of defect in a child as a reflection on them. But the fact is that a child is born with a disability. I mean, neither parent had any control over which chromosomes and which genes he or she passed on to the child. That's a random occurrence. Um, you know, and
Right. And it's not your fault.
yeah,
It's not your fault. Um, okay, Sammy. No kissing. No kissing right now. Kenyana says he often threatens to burn down or destroy places, and he threatens to get individual people at times too. If you don't ignore him, you'll end up in a pretty bad power struggle. Oh, wow. Okay.
yeah. The
You have
problem
some
though
input
comes
on that? Oh, go
problem
ahead, Mr. Charles.
comes with that when it comes to officials, school officials, law enforcement officials, and so on, they have to take certain threats very seriously. And they have to, no matter where those threats come from, no matter what kind of disability the person making the threats might have, they have to take them seriously. It's just like, if you're in an airport and you mention the word bomb, it's I mean it's that sort of thing. So that's where the problem comes in, and that there's only up to a certain point that you can expect people to be understanding when it comes to threats.
I'm sorry, you guys. I can mute over here, but because they're not talking, I'm sorry, you guys over here. DeAndre is having a ball with his cars. Um, Kelly said, I had a family member call my son's autism a chronic disease because it doesn't go away. I asked him, who comes up with this? Wow.
Yeah, yeah. The thing
Who
is,
comes up with it?
it's not a disease. It is, you know,
A
it
neurological
is a
disorder.
disability.
Yes.
I will use the D word. Some people don't like the word disability. Some people like different ability, but that's a euphemism. Um, you think about it. Um, if you have a runner who can run a kilometer in 1 minute, or if you have somebody who can hear literal dog whistles, or someone who can see, microscopic items, would we say that that person is differently abled? No. We would say that person, we use some other expression. We wouldn't say differently able to describe someone who has an extra ability in something. We use it to describe someone who's deficient in some ability. And so that's the thing I have to say about different ability or differently abled is it's a euphemism. It still means disabled.
Yeah, but it's definitely not a disease. It's not something. No, no. Um, Candy says a lot of people say when my son be doing things, he knows what he be doing. He just be trying to see what he can get away with.
Yeah, and that's not true.
Yeah. Only the only true person and people who know are you, the parent. A lot of people will assume, and don't get me wrong, there is tons of great advice and suggestions out here, but you know your child well, you know what you can try um, for the different behaviors, you know what they're trying to communicate with you. After 18 years, DeAndre, a lot of things, I mean, it's been times where I don't know what's going on with him, and I have to let him do his thing. I have to walk away, like if he's having a meltdown and I'm not sure what's going on. So I can try and console him. I can try and see what's going on. But if I can't figure it out, the best thing for me to do is to walk away. And as long as he's not, I know he's not going to hurt himself. Let him do his thing, and I can go do sit and take a couple of deep breaths, or else I'm gonna have a meltdown too. So yeah, a lot of times people will just talk because they don't know and they lack the knowledge of what's going on. It's a good conversation piece because you can always step up and say, "Look, you want to talk? I can tell you a little bit about autism, or I can tell you a little bit about my child's autism, and let you know."
Think the thing about people who see the child as a reflection on them. They're not thinking logically.
Right.
They people who are overly concerned about what others think.
Yeah.
And my in-laws from my first marriage were like that, and my
Okay.
daughter and I have had a lot of conversations about that. And Dorothy has helped me to understand a little bit about their way of thinking. And of course, it's wrong, but it's a problem that today's society puts a lot of emphasis on image, and some people are overly concerned about what others think to the point that they can't admit any disability their child has.
Yeah, and that keeps them indoors too. That keeps a lot of parents indoors because they are embarrassed. And our kids need to be outdoors just like anyone else, and you should not be embarrassed um, from your child, um, because they have this disability. Yeah, in the world, you are right. It's an image-based world. A lot of people see things, or they don't want to get out there because, oh, my image, oh, I don't want people to know, or I want to hide this. And you shouldn't feel like that. You shouldn't have to feel like
Yeah.
that. Let's see. Kenyana says, my kiddo has an intellectual disability disorder as well. He's working on basic academic skills, life skills, and behaviors. Good, good. At least you have him in, the services that will help him. That will help him.
Yeah.
Yes, I get that a lot too with my youngest. Okay. About the behavior. Kiana says, my son will definitely try people to see what he can get away with and how far he can get. There are several things beyond his control, but sometimes it's just him simply trying people. He has a mental behavior disorder as well. Okay.
Yeah, that's where, as a parent, you have to use your discretion, because the difference between behavior that your child can control or can be taught to control, and behavior that, at least at present, he can't really control.
Yeah, and see, there's this thing like with DeAndre. I know when he's trying to get away with something. So I know how to handle that. I know how to talk with him and make him know that I know what he's doing. Then there's other times where I can honestly say he cannot help himself, or he's having a bad day. Um, and when he's having a bad day, again, um, you can find out, you can try and find out what the problem is, work with them to see what the issue is, or you can just let that out. And again, as parents, sometimes we need to do that, to walk away and let them go through what they're going through, as long as they're not in a position to hurt themselves or anyone else, and sit down and, you know, take a breather so you don't have a meltdown too. Um, Michelle says, my neurological child gets overwhelmed and can have a mini meltdown. Honestly, kids are kids. So true. So true.
Yeah.
Hey, Danielle, how are you?
Hi, Danielle.
Daniel, hi, Daniel. Daniel answers Kelly and says, there's a lot of ignorant people out there. Seeing many call autism an illness, disease, epidemic, and on and on. Even had one person try to pray my son's autism away. Some people are crazy. Yeah. And I see, I don't get any of that, because autism cannot be cured.
Yeah, there's some places where the religious climate in some parts of the world is such that a kid with autism, they'll subject him to cruel exorcism rituals.
Mm-hmm. That, yeah, I think I've seen some exorcism, one of these videos on YouTube. Somewhere I seen that at, where someone was trying to do that to get the autism out of the child. I think that's just disgusting. Um, Thank you, Danielle. Um, People need to stop worrying about what others think. People in glass houses should not throw stones or be Karens. You are right. I like that. I like that. You are so right. And there are a lot of Karens out here. A
Yeah.
lot. Kelly says, I also have family or friends say that my son is an excuse for me not wanting to go places or do things. No one walks in our shoes or our children. And then there's this other thing where you just can't go out sometimes, and people think um, there should be no reason for that. And
Yeah.
again, our children may be having bad days. It may be something with their sensory where they just can't cope or be around a lot of people. And our some of our friends and family tend not to understand, or they don't want to understand. Instead of saying, "Hey, what can I do for you? How can I help?" You
Well,
know,
one
they.
thing too, when you have family like that, family and so-called friends like that, and I say so-called friends because people who treat you like that are not really your friends.
Right.
They're really just acquaintances, um, false friends. But anyway, you have people like that. The best thing is, when if you know you can't do something, just say sorry. I'm not going. I'm not doing this, and don't give an explanation because when it comes down to it, when you're invited to something, an invitation is not a summons and it's not a subpoena. You're not obligated to accept an invitation. And so, they're going to be like that about when you try to explain why you can't come, then don't explain. Just
Mhm.
they press you for a reason. I don't owe you an explanation is the answer. That's the answer to that. And be careful about making promises too when it comes to something. Be willing to say maybe to things, or we'll see, as opposed to promising something and then having to take back your promise because it's not going to work for your child that day.
Right. If you are here or coming through, even if you are just passing through, make sure you hit that thumbs up or the love. Show us some love. If you are in the group, make sure you click on the video that will bring you to the live chat, because I may not see the comments unless I go back and forth. So if you'd like to speak and share what you would like the world to know about autism, about your child's autism, or about your autism, make sure you click on the video, and that will bring you to our live chat so I can see your comment. And as I said, as you come through, make sure you hit the thumbs up or the love button. We'd appreciate it. That just show us a little support. Yes, DeAndre. Okay, we'll get some apple pies. Daniel says, I've seen plenty of neurotypical kids out there who are absolute little monsters, yet their parents will talk about special needs kids as disruptions. Yeah,
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 yeah, that's true. A lot of hypocrisy there.
yeah, very much so.
People see
Uh,
their own kids as little angels, and but then they see the faults magnified in other kids, and if that kid has a conflict with another child, the other child is automatically wrong.
mhm, mhm. Candy says it makes me upset because people always get on me about not disciplining him. I know he tries people because when doing something, he starts smiling and laughing. Oh, he's sneaky. Learn to pay him no mind. During his meltdown, I just wait him out 2 minutes later, then walk away. Then he stops and get up and come to me because they used to do that in ABA therapy. Okay, just walk away.
Yeah, right, very
Mhm.
good.
Kelly answers, Daniel, it makes parents angry when someone thinks they know more. Yeah, 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 and it really does. How are you going to tell me about my child? I mean, people who haven't experienced autism at all. That's who I'm talking about. People who don't know a thing about autism will try to tell you about your child.
And sometimes people who have no experience as parents will try to tell
Oh,
you
yeah.
know more about parenting than you do.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I remember something my an English teacher I had in high school said, used to say about unmarried aunts, and years later, my late first wife Judy had an unmarried great aunt, and I could see it in her, just exactly what he had told us about. I could see it. There it is.
Michelle says, "Bring on an exorcism. I will let the demons loose." Bring it on. Huh? um, yep, Kelly. Yep. When we moved and he switched schools, they knew little to nothing about dealing with autism. I taught them more in a 10-minute video presentation than they knew in months of having him. Yeah, that's awesome. Education is key. And hey, blessings. And I would encourage anyone who has questions, just ask. Just ask. If you don't know, ask and don't assume. Don't assume. Thank you, Kelly. And she says, thank you, Mr. Charles. I want an apple pie. It sounds, he's been, now let me tell you, he bugged me yesterday all day long. My mother called. He got on the phone with my mother and he said, apple pie, 2 apple pie. Hung up the phone. 15 minutes later, guess who pulls up with apple pies? Grandma.
Oh, yeah.
Then he woke up this morning once again. Apple pie, and he will go on until he get that, but no apple pies tonight. It used to be honey buns, but he hadn't got away from the honey buns, and maybe I shouldn't say that too loud, but now it's apple pies.
Well, tell them too much apple pie can give you apoplexy.
Oh, goodness. Kenyana says, I reject invitations all the time because depending on the place we get invited, it's a recipe for disaster. DeAndre, take one, go in your room. Take it and go in your room. We reject invitations to funerals, weddings, churches without children's church, crowded places where you got to be quiet, and movie theaters besides matinees. Okay, yeah. And for you guys who don't know, they do have around the country, I think it's Imagine theaters that do the sensory friendly movies. So check into that. And they allow the kids to get up and walk around. And, if they have to make a noise or two, everybody's there for the same reason. So make sure you look into sensory friendly movies. Michelle says, I have learned to just tell people the truth. I have lost friends because I have had to inform them that their presence gets on my nerves.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
you
Well, you
you
were
haven't
honest.
lost
Honest.
you haven't lost
Mhm.
any friends because those people were not your friends.
Yeah, and at least you're being honest. There you go. Just because our kids are autistic doesn't mean they don't have personality. Exactly. They
Yeah.
definitely have their own personalities, right? My boy is a little flirt. All right now. Danielle says DeAndre was advocating. Yes, he was. He was advocating for himself. Apple pie, apple pie, apple pie. um, oh, wait a minute. I just bought a box of honey buns at the store this evening. Oh yeah. DeAndre used to be into honey buns. I used to have to keep them around, but I guess he done outgrew that phase and moved to something else. Now it's apple pies. Definitely. Gotta love grandmas. I love my mama.
Yep.
Um, Victoria says, I wish certain parents will understand their child's disability. Some of our kids are never going to do certain things. Yes. And there's the acceptance on our part. Um, we have to understand that although you can push, you can try all different things, but the truth is, you know, our kids, they are not going to be where we probably expect them to be. So that has to be not only in the world's, for the world to see, but as parents, we have to learn how to accept, our children's disability.
Yeah.
Great point, Victoria. Candy says, I just tell them now, you would not last 2 days in my shoes. My son is so sweet, but he knows how to work a nerve. Yes, my son, a mama boy, so he prefer to be under me. I saw Inside Out. I saw Inside Out too during a sensory friendly at Cinema Cafe. Oh, you saw Inside Out the movie. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So you guys make sure you look into that, especially if your babies have sensory issues. All ages. I mean, it's a wonderful experience just to go and um have your children enjoy, the movie the way they want to. Kelly says, I talked to Jordan's doctor about him not going out to socialize much. She said that if he doesn't want to go, Sammy, he wouldn't have a good time anyway. So it's okay to not have a social circle. Right. And she's right. If you pushing him to go, you know, what fun is that? What fun would that be, for him?
I think that the key difference is, a child who doesn't want to socialize versus a child who wants friends, but is having all kinds of trouble making friends.
Yeah. Yeah. Kenyana says, Victoria, responding to Victoria, exactly. My grandma is upset with me because my son doesn't have a college fund. I'm about 98% sure he isn't going to college because he's getting a certificate of completion and not a high school diploma. Okay. And yeah, my son has a certificate of completion, and that certificate allow the services to continue until he's 26. So if he would have gotten the regular high school diploma, then those services would stop. So with the certificate of completion, and that's another thing. Some parents get offended. Oh, my baby, he's going to get that certificate. What I mean, that diploma. Well, we have to accept, certain things, and I've accepted, and I've been through with him throughout his school, career. So, what was best for him was to get the certificate of completion, and now he's in a vocational, life skills, and they even help him with job placement, and they're right there. His services will continue at least until he's 26 here in Michigan.
Yeah, that's the thing you have to look at is what's a realistic
Right.
expectation
Realistic
for my
expectation.
child. And
Mhm.
and again, you have to don't listen to what other people are trying to tell you. I mean, unless they're people who really know the situation, really understand the situation. You know, that's just well-meaning relatives. You got to take some of what they say with a grain of salt because
Oh, yeah.
they don't know your child, they don't know the situation. They may be concerned about image, and that's another thing. A lot of, again, that comes back to this concern about image, wanting the child to have a college education. Well, why? What do you expect the child's going to learn in college?
Okay. Candy says they have a sensory gym here called We Rock the Spectrum. Awesome. We
Good.
have a young lady here. Well, we have sensory places here, a couple of them. But we have a young lady who is pushing to start get a gym for our autistic babies here in the city of Detroit. And for those of you who are local, make sure you guys follow Autism in the D. She is doing great things, and hopefully she gets that gym going. So make sure you follow her. I think she's having a Halloween event coming up, if I'm not mistaken, for those of you who celebrate Halloween. So make sure you check that out. But yes, sensory gyms are great for our babies. Yeah, I think it's one here in Sterling Heights and one here in Farmington, if I'm not mistaken. I'd have to look that up to be sure. Um, Victoria says one of my school kids' parents made him join FFA and can't seem to understand why he can't memorize the FFA creed, which is 5 paragraphs. May I ask what is FFA? Because I'm lost.
Yeah,
Do you know?
I ain't never heard of FFA
Oh, yeah. Please tell us what FFA stands for. Candy says my son goes there for social skills and play with other kids. Okay, great. What do you want? Here, get one out of the bag and put that in the kitchen. That's good. That's good. And that was one of the things I liked about center base when DeAndre was going to center base ABA. They were getting into the social skills, getting to know one another. They would pair the boys. So that's definitely a good thing. Michelle says, I am house hunting my. Yes, DeAndre. Go in your room, please. Yes, Jasmine is coming. Jump. Yep, she's going to come take you to jump. Michelle says, I am house hunting. My plan is to get a place that has an apartment or something, so I will have a place for Jaden to live when he's older. I am not sure if he could live on his own, so this plan would be the best for either situation. Oh, yeah, that's a good plan.
Yeah, that's
That's
not.
yeah. There's a mom here on social media that had built a one of those small houses in the back of her house for her autistic son. So I think, yeah, that's a great idea. That'll give, that gives them their privacy, but it also gives you a peace of mind, you know. Make sure if they need you, they know you are right there, but they still have their privacy. So that is a great idea. Sammy. Okay. Daniel says, yes, you have to keep it realistic and know there's certain limitations, but don't look at it as what they never be able to do, but rather focus on their strong points and encourage growth in those. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Definitely
Yeah,
encourage growth.
that's the
Yeah.
thing. That in Kenyana's case, and we know a little bit about her background and so on, and about her son's limitations. And I have to agree, from what I know of his situation, it's hard for me to picture him, going on to college and learning something there that will be useful to him. I can picture him learning skills to be useful, but not in college. Um, but obviously some of us have gone on to college. I did, graduated from Michigan State, graduated with honor, and went on
All
to
right,
a
Mr. Charles.
45-year career in computing. But that's me, and some of us, likewise, some others have done that. Look at Temple Grandin and look at what she's done. But that's certainly not all of us, and not even the majority of us.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Daniel says future farmers of America. Okay. Okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah, everybody's chiming in. Okay, Future Farmers of America. All right. Awesomeness. 5 paragraph creed. Okay.
Yeah, I knew it couldn't be Fantastic Fools of America.
Oh goodness, Mr. Charles. um Kelly says we opt for a diploma because we knew Jordan wasn't going into an adult program. I feel that it's an awesome, amazing time for our kids and a great accomplishment that our babies complete. Yep. So either or, even if with the diploma or the certificate, either way, they have accomplished something. They have finished their school career, where
Yeah,
from what 13 years of school. They have completed it. Yeah, DeAndre, he's in his room quiet now. I won't speak too soon because he'll be back. Sammy is innocent. He's advocating, but yeah,
yeah,
okay, yeah.
yeah, yeah. Well, you see, with Sammy, you got to talk to him in his language. You
Oh,
can't tell him hi.
woof
You got to
woof.
tell him woof. Yeah.
Michelle says, I have always wanted a house with an apartment over the garage. Ever since I read The Summer of My German Soldier, a house over the garage. Have you read that, Mr. Charles? But that's a
No,
good idea.
I've heard of apartment over the garage. I just haven't read that book.
The book. Okay. Candy says the Center Facts is offering drumming lessons for kids with autism. I signed my son up because my son always drumming on everything in the house. So that's good. Yep.
Yeah,
When they are interested in something, my son has been through it all, Candy. He has drums, the guitar, and when he was little, he was so fascinated with the guitar. He even have had his music teacher. Her dissertation was she used DeAndre because he was so hyper fixated on the guitar. So she he was the subject, autism and music and guitar. DeAndre was the subject, and then but he has guitar, drums, microphones galore. Um, what else he got down there? He got something else down there. I don't know, but yeah, clap it up for all of them. Yes, yes. No matter diplomas, certificates, whatever, our babies do great. Our babies have done it. Hey, Lori, how are you?
hey Lori.
Thinking, don't know if DeAndre being quiet is a good thing, right? Or if he's up to something. I'm just gonna take my chances and hope he's being good. How did you know? How did you know? Because when he's too quiet, I will have to get up just to take a peek in that room and see what he's doing. Hmm. Jordan loves music. Yep, that's awesome.
Yeah, yeah,
Yep.
yeah. I've
Clapping for
always
our
loved music
babies.
too.
Lori says, I'm good. How are y'all? I'm doing good, Lori.
I'm
Doing
doing
good.
great.
Okay, you guys, it's our last 10 minutes, and you guys know the drill. If you want to come on up, you have something positive, inspirational, motivational to share, you are welcome. If you have a business or organization or you're doing something awesome for autism and you'd like to share, feel free to come on up. I'm going to put the link right here in the chat. And for those of you, if you haven't hit that thumbs up button or that love button, please do so. Please do so. Show your support. The link is in the chat, so feel free to come on up with these last few minutes. And afterwards, then we are going to log off for the night and we will see you guys next week. Victoria says, really great conversation tonight. Thanks. You are so welcome. You are so welcome. Thank you for joining us, Victoria. And for those of you who are interested in homeschooling, who thought about it, who are homeschooling, who has resources to share, Victoria is the admin over at Autism and Us Homeschool Support Group here on Facebook. So make sure you guys head on over there and join the homeschool group. Candy says on the autism page, I sent autism summit info.
Oh yeah, there's an autism parenting summit that's scheduled for some upcoming weekend. You know,
Oh, okay.
I've never had enough time to actually check that that thing out. I mean,
Who
it sounds,
sponsors who sponsors that, Mr. Charles?
I'm not sure. Uh,
Okay.
I get information about it, and I've just
Bye.
never
Thank
actually
you.
had the time to check it out.
Okay. Lori says I missed it tonight. Have a good night.
We missed you, Lori.
Yeah, we'll be here next week. We will be here next week. And you guys, my birthday is coming up. My birthday is October 3rd. Well, let me first make this announcement for those of you in the Detroit metro area. We were going to plan on our sweatpants and mimosas event for October, but unfortunately, due to some personal things I'm going through right now, we have decided to postpone that until April, and we're going to do it Autism Awareness Month instead. So look forward to that, sweatpants and mimosas. I will have more details coming soon, the venue, and I'll have it set up on the website real soon. So April is sweatpants and mimosas. And also, again, my birthday is coming up October 3rd. So if you guys would like to get me a great birthday gift, all I ask is a donation to Autism and Us. And you can donate um, anything through our website here on Facebook. There's a donate button on the page, or to our Cash App, Autism and Us. So that's all I want for my birthday. And I'm going to start yelling it out now. Birthday coming up. So we look forward for the donations. The donations will go towards our sweatpants and mimosas, where parents get together and every parent will get a gift. We're going to start back the parenting care boxes and all of that good stuff, but we need to pull in those donations. But that's what I want as a birthday gift. So if you want to do something very special for me, that's what you can do. Donate button on Facebook, on our Facebook page, Autism and Us, or you can go to our webpage, autismandus.org, or Cash App, Autism and Us, $ Autism and Us. So, okay. Um, let's see. Uh, oh, Autism Society of Tidewater. Okay, that's who's presenting the summit.
Okay.
Okay. Michelle says, took Jaden to Rail Fest for his 13th birthday. He said, this is the best day of my whole life. I took so many pictures of trains. Oh, awesome.
I
Happiness
was
is what it's all about.
I was
Go
really
ahead.
into trains as a kid. A special treat for me. All our relatives lived in Michigan, and or most of our relatives did, and so we would go to Michigan every summer for our summer vacation. And I had one set of parents lived in Ann Arbor. The other set of parents lived in Corona, and
Okay.
this is back before the interstates were built. I-69 didn't exist, so my parents had a rather complicated route they would follow to go there. It almost took us through Durand, and it was a special treat going through Durand because of the rail yard there.
Ah, okay. Trains, trains, trains. Kelly says it's been a few weeks since I've been on chat. I lost my big sister 2 weeks ago.
Oh, that's too bad.
Oh, and you guys are like family. I feel so much better with your support and laugh. So sorry for your loss, Kelly. Hugs and prayers for you and your family. Sounds good. See y'all next week. All right. Awesome, Lori. I will repost it. What you drinking? I don't know. I think I'm gonna have a glass of wine. I'm not sure, but yeah, I'm gonna toast up for my birthday. Thank you. But it's October 3rd, you guys. October 3rd. I am gonna put a fundraiser for my birthday up on the Facebook page for Autism and Us. So that's what I want for my birthday gift, you guys. Thank you so much. Michelle says, remember, you are doing an amazing job. You are loved. You are the best advocate for your babies. Y'all hear that? Thank you for that, Michelle. Yes, everybody, you are doing everything. Candy said, what cash app? My cash, well, Autism and Us cash app. Autism and Us. $ Autism and Us, if you have cash app. I wish I could help, but hey, I understand. I understand. Only if you can, I should say that. Only if you can. It's not mandatory, but if you can for my birthday. I just thank you for being here. Your support, you showing up, and supporting other parents, is that's wonderful. Um, Michelle says, my birthday is October 27th. Hey, but you are a Scorpio, right? That is all I want for my birthday, too. How awesome. Awesomeness. Danielle says, have a great week, everyone. Be kind to yourself. Make sure you guys be kind to yourself. She's offering condolences to Kelly. To Candy says, to the parents, you are doing great. Yes, you are. You all are doing awesome. Kelly says, have an awesome week, everyone. Kenyana says,
You too,
Daniel's
Kelly.
birthday is October 10th. We are going to Universal Studios for 6. Oh, awesome. He's going to enjoy that. He's going to enjoy that. Will this be his first time going to Universal? My daughter's birthday. Hi, she's October 3rd, too. Yes, that's what's up. October 3rd. I'll be 56. Thank you. You're so welcome. Um, Candy said, parents, take 30 minutes to yourself for mental health purposes. Yes, thank you for that. Remember, self-care is the best care. Yes, Scorpio. Okay, I'm a Libra. Kenyana says, yep, his first time. I'm taking my sister for extra help and support. Awesome. Well, I hope Daniel has an awesome, awesome time at Universal for his birthday. That's awesome. Okay, everybody. I don't see anyone up this evening. So until next week, we will see you same time, same place, right here, at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So thank you guys. I appreciate each and every one of you. Mr. Charles, any last words?
Just everybody have a great week. Remember, people who, don't want to understand your child are not your friends. Um, friends behave like friends. So remember that, and remember, what's best for your child. When it comes to someone who really is an expert who knows autism, that's another thing. Willing to adjust your understanding of something they point out to you. But when it comes to all these people offering their 2 cents worth, the best as the parent.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. So Candy's going to watch Big Brother. All right. Okay, you guys. Until next time. See ya
Right?
later. I appreciate each and every one of you. Love you all. Take care of yourself. Self care.
Night.
Bye.